Ladies and gentlemen, the American German Bulldog Nation, welcome to an interview of another Durrani victim. This Durrani victim is Patrick Stephenson. Thanks for coming up, Patrick. From where?
Brooksville, Kentucky.
Brooksville, Kentucky, which is down AA Highway towards George Clooney country in Augusta, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
All right. I've been doing this when I do these interviews, little overview. He had a surgery at Westchester August 27th, 2010, one on March 28th, 2011, one on May 4th, 2011, and one November 7th, 2012 at Westchester. He had BMP2 placed into him, which is causes cancer. He had COPD, so he should have never had the procedure. No hospital consent. Durrani didn't make him quit smoking before the surgery. He had hyperextension before the surgery. Shouldn't have had it. Late dictation. Dr. Shanty did one of his surgeries without him knowing it. Remember the Shanty shuffle where Durrani would have an assistant doing? It destroyed his income. Blank signed office consents, false diagnosis, and also had a surgery while Durrani was suspended at Westchester. He went to trial, and he won. His verdict was $1,320.14, $1,320,000. All of that is collectible under the policy. Now get this. They appealed the verdict, and the court of appeals ruled that our playing this collage of all Durrani's lies was reversible error. So Patrick has to have his trial again. And guess what I anticipate, Patrick? A bigger verdict.
That's good.
But do you believe, Patrick, now from the time that you filed your lawsuit in 2013, despite winning your trial, and we're now 11 years later, has Medical Protective ever offered you a nickel of their $40 million?
No.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Well, tell me about your situation. First off, how'd you get to Durrani? Like, how did you end up in Durrani?
Basically, my regular primary care physician was out at the time because he had broken his foot. So they had a replacement doctor that came in, and he was the one that referred me to Dr. Durrani and told me he's the best spine surgeon he's ever heard of.
That is typical because Durrani actually sent out letters to all the primary care physician practices bragging about his Cincinnati children's training and blah, 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 not revealing to these people the truth. And they got the referral to him. So when you first, where did you meet Durrani at which office?
The first time I went to see him was in Blue Ash.
Okay. And what did Durrani say to you? Just describe those events that day with seeing Durrani.
Went in, first person I seen was Jamie Moore, his assistant.
His lover.
Yeah. Very pretty woman.
Dr. Melman makes a joke that one of the few things that Durrani got, no, it wasn't Dr. Melman, it was somebody else, made a joke that one of the few things that Durrani did right was Jamie Moore. Anyway, go ahead. Isn't that awful? Anyway, go ahead.
But she kind of prepped me up, built me up like, you're going to see the world's best spine surgeon. We're going to get you taken care of, get you back to work, and get you back to being a hero in no time.
What was your job?
I was a pump truck driver for a septic company, and I was also a volunteer firefighter.
Were you able to do those things after Durrani got finished with you?
No.
Tell me about your first, what did Durrani say he was going to do?
He said he was going to fix me, and he'd have me back to being a hero within 2 weeks.
And were you back being a hero 2 weeks?
Hell no.
A hero firefighter?
No.
What did he do what was your life after Durrani's surgery? Like, what was worse?
Probably the laying around and gaining weight. I used to be a real, fit, muscular person when I was working, and now I'm
got your belly.
Yeah, I got a belly now.
I know what it's like to have a belly.
And the hard part of this is I can't do simple things like sit-ups to, work on those abdominal muscles. I've been to talked to a couple of physical therapist friends that I have, and they told me there's really no physical therapy that's going to help you. Any physical therapy you do is going to hurt you even more because of the rods and the screws that he put up and down my spine. And
What areas of the back did he operate on? All of them?
he pretty much did most of my back. I mean, he did the lumbar, then he did a thoracic, and then he worked in my cervical area for the last 2 surgeries.
Unbelievable. But so you've never returned to those jobs?
No, I wish I could.
What about pain? What's your pain assessment? Like, how do you?
And I mean, I have, my doctor manages my pain because of all the problems that I've had out of pain management clinics. I wound up getting red flagged. And so we found this doctor down in Lexington, a Dr. James. And he said, yeah, I can manage your pain. No problem. We won't mess with your back. All that. I go in next month for my visit. I get to see his physician's assistant, and she says, well, we're cutting you off because we're not a pill mill. We have to do injections in your back to see if we can put this Medtronics pain pump in. And I had a friend of mine that had that pain pump and same pain pump installed in her, and it damn near killed her. She wound up in the hospital for 8 weeks.
How old were you when you saw Durrani first in 2010?
I was like 45 years old.
Okay. In your prime.
Yeah, I was in my prime.
What do you do most days?
Sit around, lie around, watch TV. There's not much I can.
You're on disability?
I'm on disability. Basically went from, making thousands a month to now I make 1,000 a month.
Have you been any doctors that said they could do anything for you to fix Durrani's problems?
No, all the doctors I've talked to said that they can't because of the way that he put the BMP tube in there.
You're the first one of these recent interviews that I've done where you've gone through a trial. Mm-hmm. And I'm blown away how people don't realize the ordeal that's like going through. Can you describe to the public what's it like going through a 2-week trial?
It's torture, pure torture. You have to relive everything that you went through with Durrani because, seeing his face on the videos and stuff like that.
Everything you've done's questioned.
Yeah, everything.
Your whole life history's laid bare.
Exactly.
One of the things that I found from the 110 folks that have gotten through their trials is most cannot believe that's when they really first find out, because it's just the nature of the beast, the trial, when they hear all the experts that we have testify for you, Wilkie, Bloomfield, and Saint, the magnitude of his lies. Isn't it amazing, Patrick?
Amazing.
What you found out, like he would, like an MRI would say fine or mild, and he would say it's severe. And
exactly.
I mean, diabolical.
Yeah, it got to the point where, I was an emergency medical technician. Of course, the only thing they teach us is to stabilize the spine. But after all this went on, I used the internet and any resources I could find just so I could figure out what had been done to me and how, my best course of treatment would be. And the only thing is I'm stuck on painkillers and muscle relaxers. There's nothing can help me.
What do you miss most about your prior life before Durrani?
Used to love to go hunting. I haven't been hunting since. Can't handle it. Can't handle the walk.
Can't handle the walk, the gun, everything about it.
Everything about it. I used to love to shoot. Can't shoot anymore. Durrani ruined that for me.
I think people, average lay people, until they've gone through it or as loved ones go through it, just don't understand the idea of being a vibrant, productive citizen to nothing based upon what someone does to you, and how because of the pain, the immobility, and everything else renders you helpless. The psychological toll that must be.
Oh yeah, I've seen a number of psychiatrists. Unfortunately, my insurance doesn't pay for mental health. Went to see a psychiatrist in Maysville for a while until the insurance changed again, and boom, I was out.
You know, the number one thing, the first thing that people ask when you meet them in a social engagement is, what do you do? And even Bobby Kennedy, when he went down to Appalachia, talked about how the importance psychologically of a job, you know, feeling productive. And all work is noble, to quote Plato. And I believe that, you know, no matter what, you know, we need everybody. COVID proved that. And it's so sad that, you know, somebody like yourself, man, you're a truck driver, a volunteer firefighter. And by the way, I've known a lot of volunteer firefighters. You represent the city of Independence. That is a very personal, rewarding job. People that do that, it's very personal, rewarding.
Yeah.
So he took that away from you.
Yes.
You know?
That's probably the thing that I miss the most, is being able to help out my neighbors. You know, I was at a pretty high level. I'm a level 3 firefighter, state certified instructor, you know, all that. I've got all that in my background and can't use it.
Well, Patrick, as I always say to all the Durrani victims, we got two options. We quit or we fight on. So I say this, your trial's set again, isn't it? When is it?
Yeah, end of September.
And we'll just go kick their freaking ass again.
Yep.
And at least he's doing it with a group. And that's why I think your verdict will even be higher, because your trial went before all by itself. And now you're going to get to go with somebody. So that jury hears two verdicts. So I think it makes a difference. Thank you for coming in. You get back to Brooksville safe, okay?
I definitely will.
The Butcher of Pakistan, that book right there I wrote, it's available on Amazon, Acclaim Press. It's also a podcast, and it's now an Audible book. So you can check it out. If you don't like to read, listen to it. It will hook you. Thank you for tuning in.